Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, welcome back to the channel, and today we have the 10.5 data mining release. There's a bunch of info on the next two gods that are going to be coming to the game, a bunch of new skins, events, all that kind of stuff. As always, as it says here, data mining is a way of obtaining early data on what Hi-Rez is working on, and it's not always 100% accurate. Usually, it's mostly accurate. I would say data mining is like 80 to 90% accurate a lot of the time. The skins are basically always accurate, it's just some of the god information can sometimes be either intentionally put there by Hi-Rez to mislead data miners because they don't like people data mining the game, which is understandable, but personally I'm very interested in what's coming down the pipeline, and if you clicked on this video you probably are as well. So they sometimes throw a little misleading like things in there, and sometimes it's just, you know, very hard to interpret what you find in the files when it's not like ready for release. But with that said, let's just jump right in. So first up, we have skins. There's going to be, I'm only going to be reading the purple stuff here, which is the stuff that's newly data mined from 10.5. There's a bunch of other stuff here that might not have come out yet, or might have come out yet, that may have been in like 10.5 or whatever, but this is all from previous data mining, so you can check that if you want as I'm going through. But just the new skins for 10.5, there's going to be a Cryo Chak skin, which is going to be called Darkfire Demon by the looks of it, so it should be pretty cool. Maybe he's got like Ice Rain or something, like Sleet. That'll be quite cool. Jablanque skin, Midnight Freeze. Another Frost themed skin, and also Cthulhu Snowbird and Cthulhu Firebird. This makes me think Battle Pass, to be honest, because Frost themed, Frost themed, Frost themed, and then this Firebird could be like how they've been doing with the recent Battle Passes, where they do two variants of a skin. So maybe Cryo Chak and Midnight Freeze Jablanque will also have a fire variant or something like that, and they're doing like an Ice and Fire Battle Pass, you know, Ulla skin style. Obviously not as cool as the Ulla skin, but that kind of style. This screams Battle Pass to me, that these might be coming out in the next pass. The Binds of Tartarus are no more. I guess that's for the Fenrir tier 5. Unless that's just in there for, like, reference to, Charon, maybe? You know, Charon very associated with, the underworld in Greek mythology, so this definitely could be a reference to Charon in the files, or it could be something to do with the tier 5 Fen skin, that maybe they're going to release that around the same time and have it kind of all themed around the Greek underworld. Maybe some kind of, like, event or something like that, but yeah, that's new in the files. Could be, like, maybe a voice line from Charon or something, as I said, or it could be related to the tier 5 skin. There's a bunch of event stuff there that we've already gone over. Patch 10.7, new god release, Maman Brigitte, which is interesting because that's only 2 patches away. So either what they're going to be doing is releasing Charon in 10.6 and then back-to-back releasing Maman in 10.7. Or they're gonna, this potentially is inaccurate, maybe they're gonna release Maman Brigitte before they release Charon, but that's not the order it was in the reveal trailer, so probably not that, but it could be, considering they've had Maman Brigitte in development since late Season 9. They scrapped it for Season 9 and then brought it back for Season 10, so it's possible they already had a lot of the work done in Season 9, and they've just had to sort of redesign some things and implement things for that, and maybe Maman Brigitte will release first, if they're maybe on a bit of a time crunch, I'm not sure. So either we're going to see Charon in 10.6, which is what everyone kind of expects, because 10.6, the next patch, is going to be the launch of the season of, I don't know what it's called, Season of Despair, maybe, or something like that. It's like the River of Souls, all that kind of stuff, you know, underworldy kind of season. The map's likely going to get changed to be not sunshine, rainbows, and water from Michelle's release. It's likely going to be changed to a more dark map with, like, maybe souls flying around, some new gameplay mechanics, all that kind of stuff. We'll probably get more information on that as we get closer to 10.6. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of stuff on Conquest map changes in this one. But yeah, either they're going to release Charon in that 10.6 launch patch, which would make sense. He's very themed with the season, and it would make sense for them to launch it with the season. Obviously, they didn't launch his shell with the launch of the Season of Hope, but I think that's because they didn't want to do 3 gods back-to-back. You know, they did 10.1 where they released Surta, and then they did 10.2 where they released Matikaras. They probably didn't want to release 3 gods back-to-back. But maybe they'll do another back-to-back release. You know, in 10.1 and 10.2, we got back-to-back gods. Maybe we'll get back-to-back gods again. You know, maybe the release patch 10.6 is Charon, and then Maman Brigitte releases in 10.7. That's what the data mining says here, but as always, take it with a grain of salt. She might not be 10.7, she might be 10.8. That would be a more reasonable expectation, but again, we have seen a back-to-back release, so it's definitely possible Maman Brigitte comes straight after Charon. And it's also possible Charon gets delayed, and Maman Brigitte is in 10.7. But I imagine they would want to release a god with the release of the new season, so probably most likely, actually, Charon, Maman Brigitte 10.7 or 10.8. And there's more information on those guys a little bit further down, we'll get to in a second. So for patch 10.7, there's an Agni skin, Bacchus skin, Cernunnos skin, Thor skin, Adi Shell skin, no surprise there. No information on what these are actually going to be, but if you're mains of these gods, I'll probably be picking up the Thor skin if it's pretty cool. Might pick up the Shell skin as well. And 10.8, the patch after that, we've got Danzaburo, Tier, and Yuhuang skin. A bit late for the Tier skin after they buffed him, right? You'd think they'd release a Tier skin like next patch or something, because he's going to be fucking broken, dude, after that buff they gave him. And then patch 10.9 going to be an Anubis skin. So, further down, we have Deity 127, Charon. This isn't in purple because it was from the previous data mining, but there was so little to cover in the previous data mining that I didn't make a video on it. So if you only watch my videos and you don't follow the post directly, you won't know about any of this stuff. So I'm going to go over it in this video. So, Charon. He's going to be a mage. High area damage, magical ranged. Morgan Le Fay used as a template for Charon, and also a few things from Anher, which is interesting, and he's going to have a movement speed buff. So, first things first. There's some conflicting information here. There's another data miner, it was mentioned on Reddit. There's another data miner that also does mining on the game. Not as prevalent as, I think it's Fairo, however you say it, that does the data mining for this one. But in his mining, it suggests that Charon is going to be a guardian, not a mage, and that Maman Brigitte is going to be an assassin, which does corroborate with what we've got down here for Maman Brigitte. So it's interesting. There's a little bit of a conflicting thing here. Obviously, it could just be magical and not necessarily a mage, but, you know, high area damage, that's not typical for a guardian. Magical ranged, also not typical for a guardian, but we do have a fair few guardians that have ranged basic attacks at this point, so it wouldn't be completely out of the ordinary for him to have a ranged basic attack. And then, yeah, Morgan Le Fay used as a template for Charon is interesting. You know, what are they gonna use? Is it just gonna be for the model? Probably not. I can't imagine Charon's model is probably going to incorporate the boat in some way, right? It'd be cool if he was just like sailing and they had like a water effect, like a River of Souls effect underneath him, like on the ground, and he just sails around in his boat. That'd be sick in my opinion. So I'm not sure if they're going to be using it for the model, kind of like they did with, they used, I think it was Cthulhu's model for Surtur, because Surtur's like much bigger than your average character, and so they were using a model that would be more fitting of that. So it could be that they're just using Morgan Le Fay as like a base template model, or it could be that potentially parts of her kit are being not reused, but like used as a base for them to develop Charon. You know, if he has some similar things to Morgan Le Fay. You know, maybe he's got like a 2-hit ability, kind of like Morgan Le Fay's Dragonflight or something like that. We don't have too much information yet. And also a few things from Anher is interesting. You know, maybe something to do with summoning, you know, objects like the pillar. Potentially something to do with spears. Could be his jump, you know, jump in and knock up. Maybe Charon can do that. Maybe he jumps in like with the boat and knocks people up or something like that. That could be cool. And also Charon's going to have a movement speed buff of some kind. So maybe that conflicts with the jump idea. Oftentimes if they give a mage a big movement speed buff, it's because they don't have mobility in their base kit. You know, think he's Shell. And so this is interesting because, as I said, there's conflicting information. Another data miner has suggested that Charon is going to be a guardian and not a mage. And to be honest, that would make a bit more sense to me. Originally, I thought Charon was potentially going to be a magical assassin, or Maman Brigitte was going to be a magical assassin. Because there is going to be 6 god releases this season, right? I think that's true. And so, you know, maybe they'll release 2 mages, but one of them is one of the out-of-class mages. You know, maybe we have another Aokwang-style release, or we have a magical ADC or something like that. So I highly doubt Charon's going to be a generic burst mage when we just had Shell, who's not quite a generic burst mage, but kind of is. I highly doubt we would get another generic burst mage straight afterwards. I'm a little skeptical of this. I'm more accepting of the idea that Charon's going to be a guardian. And maybe he's just using templates from other things. Maybe he's going to be a more high damage bruiser guardian or something like that. I don't really know. But moving on to Deity 128, Maman Brigitte, she is now confirmed in the files. We basically knew she was coming. That god teaser leaves almost nothing to be considered there. Maman Brigitte was definitely coming, but she's now confirmed in the files, so we absolutely know for sure she's coming. And the info we have so far is that she's going to be physical melee, high single target damage. So if this is to be believed, again, take it with a grain of salt, but if it's to be believed, physical melee means she's going to be an assassin. I kind of was thinking she was going to be assassin for a while, to be honest, since they announced her. Either an assassin or a magical assassin from the mage class. But it seems, you know, maybe if Charon's going to be a mage, she's just going to be a straight-up assassin with high single target damage. Also, the other data miner did mention they were using some stuff from Cleaner to develop Maman Brigitte, so maybe she has some kind of phase walking abilities or something like that. She is associated with the dead, so definitely possible that she has some kind of phasing type mechanics. Maybe invisibility as well, potentially, stuff like that. You know, probably won't be able to straight up go through walls because, you know, that's kind of Cleaner's thing. But maybe she can, like, phase through walls or something in a certain ability, something like that. But yeah, we don't have too much information yet, but basically we now know Charon and Maman Brigitte are definitely coming, and Charon is going to be either a mage or potentially a guardian, and Maman Brigitte is going to be an assassin. This is also corroborated by the other data miner. He thinks she's also going to be an assassin, so pretty likely Maman Brigitte's an assassin. And yeah, there's a potential for a God 129 as well that might come out later in the season, but it's not confirmed in any of the files yet. We're just we're all speculation on that part. But yeah, Charon should release in 10.6 with the launch of the new season. He's very themed around the season. It would make absolute sense to launch him with the launch of the season, and then that will be 10.4 for Shell, 10.6 for Charon. And then in this mining, it says Maman Brigitte in 10.7, but I feel like it's much more likely to be 10.8, given how the Season of Souls, that's not what it's called, I'm just, I'm blanking on the name of it. The new season is going to be 4 patches long, I think. I think 10.6, 10.7, 10.8, and 10.9 are all going to be that season. And then 10.10, 11, and 12 are going to be the final season. And so there's 4 patches during this season. I just don't see them releasing 2 gods back to back and then having no god for 2 patches and then, you know, the start of the next season releasing the final god. That just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but it could be that they're going whole hog like they did in the season of monsters and releasing back to back. You guys can come to your judgment on that because it's not entirely clear in this data mining. But yeah, that's the information we have so far for the new gods and for new skins coming, new events, Ephemeria Tier 5, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay updated on all the data mining that's going to be coming out, and I will catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out,